So I had originally intended for this video to be all about planting fall sweet corn, which is one of my favorite things to grow this time of year. But things don't always work out like you plan when you're doing this video stuff. And Saturday when I was planting my fall sweet corn, as I was getting done laying my drip tape and stuff, and I was getting some stuff set up with the camera, started thundering on me a little bit, and looked like it was about to flood. So I wanted to make sure I got the corn in the ground before then. So we just got some footage of it. We didn't necessarily get to walk you through it. We'll show you that in a little bit. But before we talk about fall sweet corn, I want to take you around just kind of a quick little tour of the 9 other plots, and we'll circle back around here. So first off, we've got our big sunflower plot here. We showed you planting on a previous YouTube video. Got 6 rows of dwarf sunflowers, 2 rows of taller sunflowers. These things are growing nice and fast, looking good and healthy. Was able to get in here with a wheel hoe and my sweeps, kind of clean this up, weed that edge there, and just get in those little tiny weeds in there, get that nice and cultivated before the rains came. And we're just watching, waiting for blooms to appear here. On over to the dream garden here. This plot here is where we had a cover crop of sunflowers. You can see I've raked out the remaining debris there. This is where we're going to be planting our onions and elephant garlic and leeks, all our alliums this fall. But it's going to be a little bit before we do that. We won't do that till November or so. So we're actually going to use this plot for our kids' birthday party. Gonna have a little dino dig in here, so I need to cultivate this. Gonna bring in a heaping big load of compost, and we're gonna have a little fun with the kids outside. Put some bones in here and let them dig around and find dinosaur bones. Our second plot in the dream garden, where we had all okra. Half of that okra is now down. We've cut down all the OP varieties because they were just getting so tall. Still got our jambalaya going there. Probably harvest that another few weeks or so, and then take it down, and might plant a cool season cover crop right here in this plot. But we'll get a few more pickings off that jambalaya this here, just waiting on those leaves to kind of die on them stalks, and we'll haul all that to the burn pile. Then we've got our tarp plot here where we had our iron clay pea cover crop. Tarp's doing its job, kind of nice and suction to the ground. All that material underneath there is dead and decomposing. We need to pull this back in the next week, dump a big load of compost on it, put the tarp back, and this is where we're going to plant a majority of our brassicas this fall. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, all that good stuff. This plot here is where we have 2 double rows of zinnias on that far right end over there. Here we're doing our little fall tater experiment. Haven't seen any leaves emerge from the ground yet, but have checked on a few, scratched around, and the seed pieces look good, got roots on them, so hopefully everything's hanging in there just right with that. This kind of empty space over here where we just cultivated those volunteer canary melons. Probably gonna do a little mini herb garden right here. It's kind of what I'm feeling for this spot. So hopefully those taters come up. The zinnias will be good till first frost. Hopefully we can stick some herbs in here. Here we've got our cover crop cocktail of sorghum sudan grass and iron clay peas. And we can see that sorghum sudan grass is starting to flower there. It's a little dark out here this morning because Sally's on her way, gonna dump some rain on us for the next few days. But we can start to see some seed heads there, so it's time to cut this down. I think I'm gonna cut it down with a big lawnmower, chop it up as best I can, probably cultivate it, maybe tarp it in between cultivating it and planting a cool season cover crop. Here I got a lot of weed pressure in here I need to take care of, so I'm not going to be planting anything here this fall as far as vegetables go. We're going to really work on getting our weed seed bank down on this plot here. So we're going to terminate this cover crop, cultivate, maybe tarp, depending on how long it takes to get this stuff broken down, and then eventually I'd say early to mid-October come in with a cool season cover crop in here. Last plot in the dream garden, still got some peppers hanging on. I fertilized those a couple weeks ago. They're looking nice and green. They should start setting a good bit more fruits here for the fall pretty soon. Over here we got some sunflower trials we're doing, some that we transplanted, a couple varieties. Some of them fell over. They're still going. We ought to at least have enough here to see some nice pretty blooms and see how we like these varieties if we want to carry them in our seed lineup next year. Over here in this real big plot here, our biggest plot, we've got our 3 rows of pole/runner beans for fall. Those are up. Just pulled up some eggplant here, just weren't doing anything. Gonna put me a row of English peas in there soon. Sweet potatoes still hanging on. Probably need to be dug within the next few weeks. Got a little bit of a blank spot over here that I'm going to cover crop this fall. Some weed pressure issues. Just kind of not doing anything with that. At this point it's just kind of sitting there. We'll put some cover crops or something in there pretty soon. Probably cover crop this whole area once we get rid of these sweet potatoes too. And then lastly, we still have our sorghum sudan grass cover crop growing right here. We've mowed this 2 times. It's almost ready for its 3rd mowing. Still looking nice and green, enjoying some of this rain we've been having. And it just keeps doing its thing. No signs of seed heads or, going to seed right now. So shouldn't have to till it in or incorporate it anytime soon. Hopefully it'll hang on for a couple more mowings, because adding all that chopped material to the soil is just good stuff. Okay, so that was a little quick tour. Now back to the fall sweet corn. So I've been planting fall sweet corn for at least 6 years now, and it doesn't really matter which variety you plant. Now the sweeter ones, the triple sweets, quad sweets, are a little earlier maturing, so if you cutting it close on a time window before your first frost date, you may want to go with a sweeter variety, but any variety will do well in fall. The ideal time for me to plant is usually late August, early September. I'm running a week or 2 behind this year. I got these planted, I think it was the 12th of September, somewhere around there. But we'll be all right. We should be fine. We're, probably won't have first frost till late November, early December, sometimes even later than that. So should still have plenty of time to get this in. So anyway, we planted this weekend, and I was going to walk you through it, but we did get some footage from it. Roll that clip. So the variety we planted this fall is one that I have never grown before, called Primus. And this is a triple sweet variety, a bicolored triple sweet variety. Now we grew the Avalon White triple sweet in the spring. We grew the Temptress Quad Sweet as a second crop, late spring, early summer. And we've grown the Honey Select, which is a yellow triple sweet before. So this is my first time growing a bicolor triple sweet. We have this Primus, and we have another variety called Providence, which is a bicolor triple sweet. Look at the seeds here. As is the case with any of the sweeter varieties, the kernels are kind of shrunken there, as we see. I used a number 4 plate, just a stock number 4 plate. Didn't have to modify the holes on that. Worked pretty dang good. Didn't really have any jamming issues. Seemed to be putting out plenty of seed. So this plot here is pretty small. My smallest plot is about 20 foot wide by 30 foot long. So not growing a ton of sweet corn for fall. We got a bunch in the freezer from the spring, so we don't really need to put up any more. Just want some to eat fresh in the fall. Hopefully to come in around Thanksgiving, that'll be real nice. We can eat some fresh, share some with our friends and neighbors and all that good stuff. So we got, I think 1, 2, 3, we ended up getting 5 rows in here. 3 feet apart. You can see those drip lines there. We planted this on Saturday. Here it is Tuesday. and we can see it's already coming up. Look down here. Now, not all of it's coming up. It's kind of sparse right now because they're just now popping out of the ground, but if you look right here, you can see a few more of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of them there popping out of the ground. So pretty quick germination there. And these triple sweets grow fast, and they should get going good. Of course, we'll have to heal them and shoot some nitrogen to them, feed them pretty good. We did come in here and till in a good bit of compost, even some of that good chicken manure stuff we got, and that's what you can see those chunks of there. So it ought to be a decent amount of nutrients in here. We might have to add a little more. Corn is a heavy feeder, and we want to keep it well fed. Now, I do realize for the majority of you out there, it's way too late to pull the trigger on trying some fall sweet corn, but something to consider for future years. If you've never tried fall sweet corn, it's really fun to do. It comes off faster because it's hotter now than it usually is in the spring, so your date to maturity is going to be a little bit faster than the listed date. You also have to stay on top of your worm pressure. It tends to be a little higher this time of year, so we'll start spraying when the corn gets about knee high or so. Every week or so, we'll start spraying before we see the silks appear with the spinosad, and just kind of get on a regular spray program. I found that is the trick to conquering the worms in the fall. Sometimes they can get bad before the silks appear, and then it can be too late. So we just got to stay on top of our worm pressure. But if you can get some fall sweet corn, it's a great treat to have, you know, later in October or November, whenever it works out for your planting zone. If you're a market farmer, if you're a small scale market farmer, growing fall sweet corn is a really, really good idea, because if you can get it to come off around Thanksgiving, you can sell the punk out of it. It's way better tasting than an old frozen mess at the grocery store. So something to consider there if you're a backyard gardener or a market farmer, getting some fall sweet corn in the ground and just making it part of your fall routine if it works out for your planting zone. So now that we've got that corn in the ground, that kind of wraps up our warm weather plantings for fall. We're not really doing a lot this year, just some sweet corn and those beans we planted on a previous video. Everything from here on out to the end of the year will all be cool weather crops. We'll be transplanting a good bit of those, and we'll be taking you along that journey once we start putting those in the ground come October or so. It's going to be wet here the rest of the week. Old Sally's kind of hit the coast and is going to take a sharp right turn over this way. We should get probably 2 to 3 inches of rain off of it. So it's going to rain here for the next few days, and then once it dries out, we can get back started on some other stuff. We can start getting some of these fall plots ready, start getting our onion plot ready, and just kind of keeping the wheels turning. If you did plant some fall sweet corn this year, let me know in the comments below how it's coming along and what variety you decided to go with this fall. I'll put some links below to this Primus variety we planted and all the tools we used to plant it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And if you did enjoy this one, check out these other 2 fall sweet corn videos right here. I think you'll really enjoy those as well. We'll see you next time.